Another fight week for you, man. Just tell me how you feel kind of coming into this one, and how was camp, and just general feelings now that the fight's here.
Yeah, I feel great. Honestly, not really camp. We found out about the fight like 2.5 weeks, but I'm always training. And early on in your career, it's hard to call it like a camp. You know, fights fall through so often, and we're just working our way and trying to get better. And I love training and enjoying it. And I think once you step up, you know, and start fighting guys with 15, 20 fights, you know, you start calling it camp.
Any temptation to say no to it just because it was so short and because it's all the way across the country, or at this point it's like,
not at all,
100%,
give me the fights, man. Yeah, no, it was more of like, I don't care who we're fighting, let's do this thing 100%. So
talk to me about the decision to sign with Bellator. I mean, I know you had you were able to sniff the UFC and you had a great performance on the Contender Series, but didn't get the contract. So I mean, you had to have been in a position that a lot of guys were who didn't get the contract immediately, but also you probably know that there are guys who a few weeks later then do get signed like for a short notice fight. So why the decision to come here, and sort of what went into that?
Yeah, so you know, I had my fight with the Contender Series, and you know, I felt like I had a good performance and did what they were looking for as far as having an exciting fight and getting a finish and whatnot. But you know, things happened and I didn't get the contract, but you know, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and it set me up. And you know, I did get that taste, but now I'm here and I love where I'm at, you know, and I got the opportunity to come to Bellator, and I couldn't be more excited. And you know, it was. And the funny thing about this, it was where it really became surreal yesterday, is like sitting down talking to Big John McCarthy and Goldie, and you know, sitting in a room talking to them. I was like, man, this is so cool. You know, I'm here and so excited.
It's like kind of what you dreamed of, the kind of things the moments that you dreamed of, maybe not that exact scenario.
100%. I mean, you know, in a intimate setting, you know, just the three of us and whatnot, and talking and you know, it's like, man, this is so cool. You know, guys that I've watched for a long time, and the funny thing is, guys that I associated with the UFC, and you know, now they're here, and now I'm here, and you know, it's all come together so awesomely, and I'm just excited.
How much sort of in the period between being on the Contender Series and then coming, you know, knowing you were coming to Bellator, how much did you lean on Paige sort of for her intimate knowledge of what goes on in the UFC in terms of making a decision?
You know, that's kind of a hard question to really, you know, I've been there and I've seen, you know, to me, I want to be on a stage and on a platform where I could showcase my skill and compete with the best in the world. And you know, I was drawn to Bellator as well, and you know, to me, they were hand in hand as far as the UFC and Bellator. You know, I finished my Contender fight. I took another fight right after our wedding, and you know, and the Bellator call came, and like I said, I couldn't be more thankful.
Pieces fell into place.
They all fell into place.
Was there extra motivation after not getting the contract on the Contender Series, even though you got a finish, you looked good? Was there extra motivation that you took from that and said, you know what, man, now I'm going to go out and I got to show these guys that they made a mistake and that can be a deal?
You know, somewhat. There's always like an underlying, you know, always in the back of your head you got that, like, hey, these, you know, in my opinion, I got screwed over. Should have been, you know, talking to other people and whatnot. But at the same time, going into the fight, you know, you're not guaranteed anything. You don't know what's going to happen, as you know, any fight, but particularly that one, your future is so much like, it's crazy. It's a tough, especially for a young fighter, it's a tough situation to go on that show and compete. And but I'm young in my career, and my biggest thing going into that was, no matter what, I'm going to be training to fight for a fight, whether it's in the UFC, whether it's, you know, on a local promotion or, you know, wherever, Bellator, any of that. And, you know, I had that mindset going into it. And so, you know, I didn't have like a ton of letdowns. Of course, you know, you go on to it wanting to get signed, but, you know, I fight because I love to fight. And I felt like, I was going to be on a platform like this, you know, eventually. So,
Cody Jones, what do you know about him? What were you able to look at in the short amount of times you had to look at him, and what does he bring to the table?
Yeah, he's a taller guy, a little bit longer. You know, he's got throw some funky stuff in there, but you know, just I don't feel like he's quite fought the competition that I fought. You know, I think for him, I'm going to be quite a bit of a step up in competition and ability. But you know, he's a dangerous guy as well. I think he's got 4 finishes his last 4 fights. So you know, he finishes guys too, and just going out there and being ready and you know, executing my game plan. And I've got a lot of great guys that I train with, mentors who have been here and done that. Brent Primus, Chael, Rick Story, Ed Herman. And, you know, when those guys are telling you you're ready, you know, you take that to heart, and you know, it's tough to argue against it.
Right now you've been sort of on the fringe of mainstream recognizability. Am I not offending you by saying that?
No, not at all, yeah.
But this is an opportunity on TV, big platform, go out there and kind of put your name in front of a bigger mainstream audience.
Yeah.
Have you thought those kinds of thoughts leading into this, and how do you not let that affect you? And then the second part of that is, how do you want to make that impression to the mainstream audience on TV?
Yeah, for sure. You know what? Every fighter has to go through it and experience. You know, anyone that you know about has been in this position before, and I've competed my entire life. I started wrestling when I was 5 years old, and you know, I joke, and you know, as everyone does, I felt like I was born and bred for this, and you know, I've competed my entire life, and you know, this definitely is the biggest stage that I've been on. But you know, I won a national title in college for wrestling, and you know, and I've been able to prepare quite a bit with Paige. You know, I kind of did get thrown into, you know, I guess celebrity status and whatnot, and experiencing some of the things with her, and as far as social media and bigger platforms and whatnot. So,
you're Instagram famous.
Yeah,
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I got the blue. No, but yeah, and so you know, I've been prepared for this, and I'm ready, and I'm excited, and this is what I get off on. You know, performing in front of people, and you know, being on a big stage and proving myself, and I'm just excited.